اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Respected viewers, welcome back to our episode of the series TABLIGH 101 Breaking the Ice. Today is an interesting episode that we have. I'm joined by Respected Wajahat Nasir Sahib. Wajahat bhai, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Reza.
So today what we're going to talk about here is interesting. Like I said, it's about the pain of a Dai Illallah, right? Someone who's devoted to Tabligh and what are maybe pains in the sort of like, some pains that a Dai can experience, and maybe talking about those and how they can kind of, figure those out. Now, of course, you being a Dai, what would you say are some pains that you've experienced and some solutions that you could kind of bring about to those?
Yeah, I think, Reza, the two pains that come to my mind for a Dai is, number one, is to really find the right Tabligh contact, right? Sometimes not every single person is the right Tabligh contact to do one-on-one Tabligh to.
Wow,
right.
I just have to say I never thought about that, because we're so focused on Tabligh, we have a contact, we gotta do it, but so what you're saying is that not everyone, you gotta figure out when it's time to tap out.
Yeah, no doubt you gotta preach to everyone, right? But at the end of the day, there's always going to be a number of people, right? A substrata of the community or the society that are just not gonna listen, are gonna persecute you, are going to be insulting, or are just not welcoming. In those situations, there truly isn't a point to try and communicate or to try and continue to, somehow preach to them if they're just going to be insulting. I would say that that's one of the pains. And I think, so two things, because to bring hearts towards you, number one, it comes through prayers. So if a Dai isn't praying, I think their efforts become futile. So I would say first and foremost, a Dai must pray 5 times a day. They must ask Allah for help to bring the true and sincere hearts towards them. And we've seen this with so many different Khuddam brothers that are Dai, that when they pray and they're sincere and they're reading Durood Sharif, that pure hearts comes towards them. Well, I have a recent example where, just today, in fact, that one of the pure hearts from Toronto came and he met Amir Sahib, and by the grace of God, he's, inshallah, moving towards accepting Islam Ahmadiyya. So point being that prayers are vital. The other pain that comes to my mind is around consistency. Because remember, a Dai, just like anybody else, has a plethora of other things in their life. They have school, they have work, they have family, they've got extracurriculars, the gym, their side hustles. They have so many other things, right? And I think that doing Tabligh, you need to be able to schedule it in your daily schedule, right? And I would say that because Islam emphasizes on consistency, a Dai has to make sure that they're consistent with their Tabligh contact, or else what happens is that Tabligh contact just goes back to their old ways and they're not in touch. Because you could meet a Tabligh contact for 1 hour, like let's say a month, or 1 hour every other month. Mm-hmm. And it could have somewhat of an impact. But if you meet your Tabligh contact for 10 minutes every single day, for 365 days, I guarantee you that's going to have a bigger impact. That's just an example, right? Sure. Point being, you don't have to meet them for like hours on end, once a quarter. You can meet them for like 10 minutes, but be consistent in that. And that'll have a way better, way bigger lasting impact on them. And that's the struggle with all of these other things that are going on in our lives.
And I guess what you need to think about is that if someone is searching, right, for the answer, if we're not giving the answer, if we're not being consistent, they're just going to go find somewhere else or look somewhere else. Because there's probably, like we've mentioned in previous episodes, like Young and Dundas Square. There's a lot of people that are doing Tabligh or preaching there. So that it's not just you that is trying to, give your message. There are other people that are trying to give their message as well. So if you're not consistent and if you're not giving them that message, they're just going to go somewhere else to find what they think is the true answer.
Beautifully said, because there's truth seekers everywhere. This is a misnomer. People say there's no truth seekers here, we got to go here. No, there's truth seekers in every single place, but we have to find them, and that comes from consistency in our efforts.
And so, okay, so, there should be consistency, but again, life happens, people are busy. I'm not busy with the gym, but, I can get busy
We
with,
know that.
with other things. So what happens in the case, when you do get busy, like what should you do? Like, right? Like if you're struggling or there's, in your life, there's a period of time where, you're not going to be able to figure or fit it in your routine. Not that it's not important. You still care about it. What can someone do?
Very good question. I think that, so let's say God brings a truth seeker to you, but you're unable to do justice to it, right? For whatever reason, maybe you're moving out of province or whatever. In those situations, you want to make sure that that contact or that friend is in connection with another Ahmadi Muslim that can do justice and maintain a relationship. The Holy Prophet ﷺ established a sort of buddy system, a brotherhood system.
The Ansars, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we have that within the Ahmadiyya Muslim community as well. So we need to enact that. And one of the ways is that when there is a tabligh contact and we're unable to do justice to him, then we connect them with a Murabbi Sahib or another Ahmadi Muslim that can stay in contact with them consistently. And particularly, you can assign them to Khudam al-Ahmadiyya's tabligh department or Nomabain department, and we can arrange for that as well, inshallah.
Okay, and then, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So just passing it on, and then I guess you have to think about that. So it might be beneficial that if you are sometimes meeting this contact or talking to them, let's say you talk to them in person, maybe have someone you think in mind, like, have a buddy system with another Dai. Both of you guys meet your contacts together, and then this way, if one person's not available, there's always a second person that they can reach out to, or if someone else is busy. 100%.
We did that today, actually. One tabligh contact was here, one good friend, and there was 3 of us there. In case one of us, the next time around can't make it, we have another person. If he can't make it, there's a third person.
Right.
So got all angles covered.
Okay. Not to make them intimidated, but it's still like,
Well, we're all friends now because Islam Ahmadiyyat is about brotherhood. So, and he understands it, and he's become a really good friend with all of us.
Wow. And I guess the other thing, that sometimes we get so caught up in is that, okay, maybe if I found this reference, or maybe if I found, this point, this argument that I can get a response to, that this person will, accept, or this person will understand, what I'm trying to say. But I guess what we need to think about is sometimes we forget, like, why don't you just pray to Allah, the Almighty, right? Like, He's the one who can open the hearts, right? He's the one who can have it accepted. So we need to kind of think that maybe, if we struggle somewhere, if we can't find an answer, we just turn to prayer, right? You have done everything you've done. You've tied your camel, right? You've given the references, you've done your research. But if it's someone who is a truth seeker, and not getting to it, you should just pray, and you should pray for not only yourself, but also for the contacts and the people that you're preaching to.
It reminds me of a story where some of the Khudam, they went to Dundas Square, which is the most hyped place if someone wants to have debates and dialogues about religion. And a Christian man in his microphone was insulting the promised Messiah.
Right, I know this one. He gets on top of that light post.
Right. And he was insulting, because we had the picture of the promised Messiah, and he was insulting the Imam Mahdi. And we tried to have this dialogue and debate, and he was refusing. So one Khadim there, he instructed the rest of the Khudam that now just read the Durood Sharif, because only Allah is our helper. And I kid you not, I promise, in just a few moments, his microphone broke down. Wow. And I think that the point of this incident, first of all, is that we see miracles within the Ahmadiyya Muslim community every single day. But on top of that is that when you've put in all of your efforts and you've done everything that you can, resort to God and leave the rest up to Him, and you'll see miracles.
MashaAllah. Wow. So just like with the pains of Dai, right? Like what we've covered is essentially, obviously you got to keep prayer in mind. I think what stood out to me is that not every person is someone that you can preach to, right? So being consistent and having like a buddy system. So Wajahat Bhai, Jazakallah, those are great tips. I hope that there are Dais that are watching that can benefit from it. Stay tuned for more episodes where we talk about the Tabligh 101, breaking the ice, and we will see you soon.
وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون.